Hello and welcome back. Earlier, we talked about the lean canvas. And we showed how we can use the lean canvas as a sense checking device. Basically, is this an opportunity? And if it doesn't really pass the smell test of the lean canvas, also known as the business canvas, we can basically just say no and walk away. In circumstances where the lean canvas actually says, yeah, actually, it does make sense what you're talking about, we consider other external variables. Even though the idea itself might be good, the idea doesn't operate in a vacuum. The idea has to operate within an environment. And basically, we consider another way in which to basically sense check the idea against the environment. And we'll talk about Porter's 5 forces analysis. In particular, we wanted to use Porter's 5 forces analysis to check the intensity of competition, or to assess the intensity of competition. Basically, we want to know if the idea can survive, whether the environment is going to prove hostile to the idea that's been presented to us, or whether the environment is going to prove friendly to the idea that has been offered to us. Obviously, if the environment is friendly to the idea, that increases the chances of success. And that may well influence our decision to invest or to proceed with our current investigation. Now, if we know that the environment is hostile to the idea, as in looking at Porter's 5 forces, and we see like there's a lot of competition going, that might also influence our decision not to invest. Simply because we do not believe that either we won the fight necessary to win, or whether we believe that the fight itself is not worth the reward. So far, by using both of those techniques, such as the lean canvas to sense check and Porter's 5 forces to analyze the environment, it can give us a good incentive, at least a good understanding of where we're going with this. But another external analysis that can be done is the PESTLE analysis. You may have heard of PESTLE before, and PESTLE analysis is relatively simple. It's a simple concept, but it is also one that should be considered in line with the proposed idea or the proposed venture. Because we also want to make sure, apart in terms of the environment, Porter's 5 forces gives us the understanding of the amount of competition that we will face in regards to bringing this idea to fruition. But apart from the competition that we will face from other potential competitors, from suppliers, from buyers, from other alternative products, there are other external elements that is also outside of our control, but which can also determine the fate of our success. Now, as you can see from PESTLE itself stands for is an acronym for political, economic, social, technological, legal, and environmental. And when it comes to this, what we want to do in terms of our external analysis using PESTLE is to consider how well the proposed idea sits well within each of these elements. To consider whether there are barriers within this key element that will make the idea unsuccessful, or perhaps even difficult to implement. And maybe by looking through it, we can also get another confirmation, another green light, by saying, well, we've gone through the lean canvas, that was a yes. We did our Porter's 5 forces, that was a yes. And now we've done our PESTLE, that is also a yes. So at least it's starting to build our confidence in the idea itself. So how do we use this PESTLE analysis? The first thing is to consider the political. Organizations don't operate in a vacuum, and there are certain government rules or legislations within which we need to comply. If you have an idea that you have a lot of immense support for, so there is a natural support for it within the political spectrum, that idea is more likely to succeed than an idea which the government is trying to stamp out. For example, let's say the government in the current economy that we're in at the moment are all about renewable energy. So therefore, if your idea makes this a better possibility, or is in the direction in which it could help the government achieve this key objective, then you might be able to get government financial stimulus commitment. You might get subsidies. There might be future taxation policies that benefit you. There might even be current taxation policies that benefit you. An example of that is we could look at Tesla. For most cars that you buy as a company, there are loads of taxes that accumulates that you have to pay as a result of it. But if you were to buy a Tesla car, the tax benefit is enormous in itself. And that means that as a result, people, when considering what car to buy, are more likely, especially if it's a like for like and they're really interested in electric cars, are more likely to go for Tesla due to that tax benefit over, let's say, particular Range Rover of the same kind. So essentially, what you're asking yourself is, with regards to this idea, is the current government or the current political atmosphere in support of such an idea and would want to see that idea succeed, or is it likely to be against such an idea and would actively legislate against it? Now, if you're fighting that kind of legislative battle, that's already a very difficult battle you're going to, and that in itself can make your project not successful. Or that in itself might mean that the time frame that you've got to get benefit from it might become shorter. And on certain circumstances, you might find that the government actually have no interest whatsoever in what is going on. They're neutral. But you want to know this regarding that idea. And if, of course, you have a government which is absolutely against the idea, they're actively legislating against it, they're going to make your life hell, even if the idea could make money, that might be enough to just push you and say, you know what, regardless of what we do, the government is going to try and grind it down. They're actively against this thing. We should stop, or we should look for a better alternative, or at least we need to come up with a plan that would allow us to do precisely that.